What is going on, everybody? CJ's He presents WandA Workouts and Anime, and we are here with chapter 1129, titled Living Dolls. Before we get into the chapter overview and some thoughts that I have at the end here, we're going to take a look at the cover story, of course, and we have Otama practicing some ninja stuff. So now that we know where she's kind of at, Yamato is just encouraging, watching over. No progression towards these missing girls' storylines, so we'll see if that goes anywhere, but it seems as if Otama is in a good place, all things considered. But now we get into the chapter, and we pick up right where we left off with these captured giants, and this mystery person who, as it turns out, is in fact not the same person that was seen at the legendary battle that took place 40 years ago, that was speculated to be a holy knight, and unfortunately this is no longer the case, and we will get to that later on. But we can see that this is a world that this person's created. It's literally this person's room. I don't know if it's some sort of ability, but this giant, unless there's something wrong with the scaling, is massive. Alright, we're going to get to that a little bit, of course. So just starting off, he's like, my poor pet, servants. So whoever he's captured, he seems to have beef with whoever this person is. So of course they're running away, and they're trying to figure out, can we really get it out of here? Like, was this really made out of blocks? And of course his cat has been putting in work. Everyone's shook, like, dude, like, I can't believe this cat is going against the so-called sun god. And even this person's like, why are you helping them? Like, I'm so confused. And this cat is fucking stressed. He's like, I don't know, man. Like, these people are strong as shit, dude. So now we get a bit of an overview of the map and where they are, right in the middle. Of course, behind this great tree is actually a mirror, and they've already crossed half of this mini country. And I thought this was actually a really cool moment for Nami that I haven't gotten in a bit since Wano, I want to say. That she just tosses the freaking blueprints, and Usopp's like, what are you doing? And she's like, hey, don't worry, I got this. And everyone's like, ooh, okay, I see you. And of course Zoro making a comment like, man, this place kind of looks massive. But of course it only looks endless because of the illusion that this world is larger than it's supposed to be, because even the clouds are essentially just cotton balls. So that's a bit interesting. So now this guy's trying to catch them with a net, and that's really interesting. So I was kind of shook when Sanji said, why is he talking like a samurai? So I had thought, oh, maybe this is someone from Wano, perhaps? A giant from Wano? Like, that's kind of unheard of. So I'm not too sure. But it, of course, and this was an interesting comment that this so-called sun god makes. This facility was designed to ensure no giant escapes its walls. Even if you were to reach the other side, do you think you have a hope of breaking through? That way is another dead end. And of course this person has an interesting laugh, of course, right? Synonymous with One Piece. Dee-hee-hee-hee, right? That's kind of how I imagine him laughing. But it's interesting. This facility was designed to ensure no giant escapes its walls. So, is this guy some sort of, like, prison guard? And are these other people giants that are actually in this little country? I think that's a bit interesting. So I truly wonder, either that or these giants are weaker than we think, and we'll kind of talk about that in a bit. But of course, Sanji and Zoro are rearing up to power up an attack, and literally just cuts through this metal net. This way the great Iscat, can continue running and helping the Straw Hat crew escape. And even the freaking so-called sun god was like, dude, the metal wires, are you serious? And then he's like, well, ahead's the mighty ear god. And, and people are like, hey, we got some bad news for you about this ear god. And then we see the carcass of the bunny that they freaking ate. And that's just freaking hilarious. Holy crap. And then this guy's just like, oh, they beat it? Like, no way, dude. That rabbit? I don't know what a Golt bunny is, but wherever it is, like, this guy's kind of shook. And everyone else is panicking because, like, these people are strong as hell. Now this guy's got some random soliloquy going on. This world is a marvel. A grand tale is unfolding in my miniature garden, taking a life of its own right before my very eyes. Alright, kind of sounds like... the way he speaks is very Maximilian Pegasus. I don't know. Very Shakespearean, so to speak. You know, verily, I actually don't even know what that word means, to be honest with you. Evil has spawned and heroes are being born in the world I created. That's how I imagine this guy talking. And of course, you know, history's being made and all this other shit. And these other people, these other captives are like, hey, like, the escape route is open. Like, this could be our only chance. I don't know who these are. Perhaps they are giant criminals? Like, criminals that are giants but got miniaturized? Like, I'm truthfully very confused because the scaling is actually insane. And, you know, maybe I have to go back and reread some stuff, but when we look at the double spread with the cat running away and then we get a look at the map here, they look very tiny, very, very, very tiny, and I don't remember them being this small, or I just don't remember giants being drawn this big. And again, I'm not sure if that's a bit of a scaling issue. Maybe this particular giant is just fucking huge, but I'm quite frankly very confused. So we continue on here, and now Usopp tries to break through the mirror beyond the great tree, skull bomb grass, and it looks ginormous. I think this might be Usopp's like most impressive attack up to this point in terms of pure like power, explosiveness, AoE, and even that had no use. And then this was really interesting, and I kind of wanted to talk about this a bit because I made mention of it last chapter, where Luffy can seamlessly transition to Gear 5th to base, and maybe because he didn't use Gear 5th that often, but he was not fatigued in this chapter at all. The way the chapter starts, Luffy's in high spirits, compared to the last chapter where it kind of seemed like he was out of it, like not out of the count, but like just laying down or whatever. But not that much time has obviously passed since that chapter and, you know, the start of this one. It's only been like real time, like a few seconds. So the fact that Luffy is already that energized from just going to Gear 5th not too long, I mean, that alone is impressive, and that alone is improvement to where perhaps, you know, Luffy can stay in Gear 5th a lot longer down the line, and that we don't have to worry about fatigue that much. But of course, Usopp's attack could not pierce the walls, and of course Luffy's like, leave it to me, my friend. And this guy's Sun God is talking about what a chapter and core of character development. Like, alright, this guy's a fucking author, apparently. But then this was crazy. He said, I'm glad you made your way to me. And then he starts calling their names. What? I was shook. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I was genuinely impressed. And then Nami's like, he knows our names. And of course, Chopper's like, what's a Tasso? Because the way he's calling their name, Luffy Tasso, Zoro Tasso, Nami Tasso, Usopp Tasso. Not sure what this means. And then, of course, Luffy, I'm gonna punch through, and time for a little Gear 4th. Now here's another interesting tidbit. When we initially started, or I guess when Nami woke up in this little block island, there was a theory, it might have been like 2-3 chapters ago, there was a theory that what Nami's seeing right now is indeed an illusion. However, we know this not to be the case now, because the biggest thing was towards the end of the chapter, Luffy said Gear 4th and then said Gear 4th whip, which could have been a mistranslation, or did people think that, Nami's just imagining these things? However, this is really interesting. So now Luffy doesn't have to transform into Gear 4th. It seems as if base form, he can actually use Gear 4 attacks. So now he's stretching this attack, what looks to be Kong Gun, and I believe he does call it out later. Some funny moments here. Nami's like, hey, no one's to blame over a natural disaster, right? And then, of course, Nami has this, like, really funny pissed off face. But it looks as if he is a giant. Of course, we have another funny panel with Sanji and Nami. And, this so-called sun god's very confused. But now we get the reveal that who the sun god is. And the theory that this was supposed to be a holy night is clearly disproven. This guy is a part of Hadruden's crew. That I don't know, who this guy is specifically. He seems a lot bigger than most giants, if I'm just being honest. Like, I don't even think Hadruden was that large of a person. So the fact that this guy looks massive in scale, like, I cannot wait to see other giants. And of course, Hadruden joining the Straw Hat Fleet Alliance, this guy's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we're not gonna follow these itty bitty people, dude. This is Elbaf's strongest warriors. And then here's the thing, I guess. If these are Elbaf's strongest warriors, I feel as if Elbaf is not what it's made to be in terms of its overall strength and size compared to other nations. I mean, the giants that came to rescue the Straw Hat crew from Elbaf Island, or excuse me, from Egghead Island, very powerful. Vice Admiral level, so to speak, right? For majority of them, except for Brogy and the other guy, Drogy. Sorry, I forget his name. Outside of those two captains, I mean, most of them were Vice Admiral level, but I mean, if Hadruden's the leader of the Elbaf's strongest warriors, like, I don't know, like, they might not be all that we think of them to be. And of course, this man got super horny, definitely dressing up Nami, because he's like, oh wow, it's my queen Nam Tafsu. This man is down fucking bad. Alright, so now he's like, oh, like, you're in for a surprise when you wake up. So he did find them on a ship. Whoever this the bird that he had, led him to him. And then I'm assuming he took them back. So I don't know if this person was on a ship or whatever, but he took them back. This bird has the Sunny on deck. And yeah, so they're definitely on Elbaf. So the people who believe they weren't on Elbaf, I'd imagine that they are, if I'm just being honest. So, there is that. And he's like, I see you have no clue where you are. Stay and run wild here. Now you'll serve me. And here's cool. This guy's like, huh? What's happening? And then, of course, you just see Zeus in this artificial sky and just full-on thunderbolts Sun God into oblivion. This man is cooked. All the captives are like, yo, what? Great Sun God. Are you kidding me? And then, of course, Luffy's arm literally stretches, like, all the way back to the initial room where they fought the pets, the previous chapter. But it seems as if that base form Luffy can use Gear 4th attacks without going into Gear 4th. So Kong Gun is a Gear 4th bound man attack. Now he can just use his base form, and that's really cool, and that kind of just shows us the growth that Luffy has had, even just since Wano, where the initial start of the rooftop battle, Luffy was struggling. He had to get out of Gear 4th. He needed that 10-minute recharge before, ultimately discovering Advanced Conqueror's Haki and freely going through the different Gear 4th transformations. But yeah, we're here at the end of the chapter, and of course, Luffy's cheesed. What lies just out of sight. I personally believe they are on Elbaf. You let me know down in your comment section below. I would greatly appreciate it. Again, this guy is not a holy knight, so I just genuinely think it was a coincidence that this guy happened to have the same mask. I know people were like, oh, this guy definitely has the last poneglyph. No, it's just a really petty dude that did not want to follow humans, because he was the one who, Hadruden was the one who joined the Straw Hat Fleet. So I just think that's really funny that all these people have these different theories, including Mr. Morich, who I'm a big fan of. But it really just came down to the shit was just a coincidence, because in terms of scaling, the guy with the mask, the shaman mask, was very similar to size and height to Garling when we saw the God Valley flashback. There we go. I think I said something different earlier. Not God Valley. I think I said like the battle 40 years ago. Yeah, so in the God Valley flashback, this is just a different person who happened to have the same mask. So not a giant. So not a giant, right? This guy liked the fit, just copied it, right? I mean, he has people calling him Sun God, so he probably has seen some things that he's liked and wants to dress a certain way, wants to be called a certain way, right? But they are here now, and yeah, I definitely think they are in Elbaf for sure. You guys just let me know down in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.